Welcome to Kwamina TV again. You meet your youngest old boy. I'm here with Mr. Yao. And this morning, we are going to talk about a couple of things. It's not an interview, it's just a conversation. Okay. At the same time, it's something that we are going to educate ourselves, both we and the people outside there. And as you know, your youngest old boy, anytime if I come on this platform, I tell you good things about Africa. We are promoting African businesses home and abroad. And please like, share, subscribe, comment, and press the notification bell. So any video that comes out, you'll see your youngest old boy again. We're going to go straight to Mr. Yao. Mr. Yao.
Yes, Ken.
I know you as Mr. Yao. People who don't know why we are here, you tell us exactly why you are here in Ghana.
Okay.
Because there's so many things that I know you've been here for a bit. Yeah. I can't even say a bit, for almost about 20 years, you said. But tell us why you moved to Ghana.
Okay.
And why you have an 126 organization.
Okay. So first of all, thank you for this opportunity. And as you said, it's a conversation. It's not really an interview.
No.
So I'm going to speak freely. And in Ghana, we say permission to speak freely.
Yeah.
And I hope no offense will be taken, but we're going to educate the audience. So firstly, my name is Yao Owusu Achiao. A-K-Y-E-A-W. It's my legal name. Proud to say it's on my passport. It's on my driver's license. It's not the name I was born with. I was born in Jamaica. Proudly born in the island of Jamaica. And where you're born in Jamaica, you get English name because it's a colonized country, colonized by the British. And so whatever name your parents got, that's what you get.
You'll get.
Especially the surnames.
Yeah.
So I will never honor those who enslaved my people, forced them into servitude. Honor them by telling you all what my name was then. It's a disgrace, and that's why I changed it. So because I changed it, there's no need to regurgitate it.
That's true.
When you throw garbage out, you go back and pick it up.
No.
And I will not continue to honor the legacy of those who enslaved my people. So my name is Yao Owusu Achiao. A lot of Ghanaians say, oh, where you get that name from? So I will tell you, for years, when I got to know myself, because obviously as a little boy, you don't know, you just know what society tells you.
That's it.
But when I got into consciousness and realized that Africa is where we came from, Africa is the root, I felt very uncomfortable using my last name. This is probably in my early 20s, especially when I read the book, The Autobiography of Malcolm X.
Okay.
And it's a book I would suggest anybody read by Alex Haley. When I read that book, Malcolm X is not his last name. His name was given to him by the slave masters through his parents. But there comes a point through consciousness where he stopped using the name and he replaced it with X. X means unknown. We don't know. Later on, he changed his name. He took a name, as a man has a right to name himself. He took a name, a Muslim name, Malik al-Shabazz. But before it was a European name. So when I became aware of who I am, I even used I started using the name X. But when I came to Ghana first time in 2001, I went to a village in Techiman, Brongafo. And I was there that I went to the elders and said, for years, I've been wanting to come to Africa. And I could have chosen a name through a book or pick a name that I like, but I didn't want it that way. I wanted to come home first and choose the name from my elders. So the elders did something we call divination, which is African spirituality.
Yeah.
They went and they consult and they ask the gods. Sorry for you Christians who may be offended.
No, I don't think so. I think this is African culture.
Yeah, I'm talking to the audience because some of them will, oh, I'm Christian or I'm Muslim.
That's true, yeah.
But I want to bring out the root of, we had a different way of life. Anyway, so when we did, they came back, I think, after 1 week, and they said, your name is Yao Owusu Achiao, and you are a person who was an ancestor who have come back, and you've come back to accomplish certain things. This is your role. So I was the happiest person you ever saw that day, and I went on my knees, and I went down, and I said in front of the elders, my name will not just stay on paper. I will use that name to the best of my ability to represent myself and my race.
It's basically,
That's
it's like
race.
you sworn on that name.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you live up, your name means a lot.
Yeah.
So, man, when I went back I was living in Florida at the time. I left from Florida to come to Ghana, and I went back. I went to do a name change at the court, which you can do legally. It's not that hard, not that difficult. And then from then on, you issue your name to your Social Security, your driver's license. I'm saying this because I'm very proud, so I did all that. So I went and told my mom and my father, and I said, Dad, there's no disrespect to you, but you know the name you gave me is not your name, and I love you to death. They say, what took you so long? We know who you are. You've always been like this, so they're not surprised.
Oh, so they will appreciate it.
Oh yeah, my parents, because I've been living an African lifestyle, trying to pursue my roots, and always speaking up for Africa since I became conscious.
Okay.
Or there's levels of consciousness, but
Yeah.
since I was a teenager getting up, when I realized that there's something wrong with the history in terms of the enslavement period. But I started learning more about our history before the enslavement, which they don't tell a lot of Africans about. We always start with slavery.
We don't know.
Yeah. So when I start finding out that Africans really were the first people on earth who built the pyramids and all these great achievements were black, looked like myself, I said, wait a second, why did we not know about this? Why were we lied to? Why did they tell us it was the Greeks when the Greeks got it from us? So I felt annoyed and angry that I was lied to for years because they didn't teach us this in school systems.
Even here in Africa, I think they didn't teach us.
That's the
because
legacy.
the pyramid that you are talking about in Egypt.
Yes.
We know that in the Bible they said it's the Jews that they came from Israel and they were enslaved there,
Yeah.
and this is what we know.
Yeah.
And even the Bible is saying something like this.
Yeah.
So we don't know exactly that Africans at that time built on that. It's a black people, but we saw it in the movie that is a Moses and other people.
Charlton Heston.
And they were all,
Yeah.
they were not black Africans.
Right.
Yeah. Even if they're African, they may be like Algeria or something like that. They're not black
Right.
African. They're all a bit mixed.
Mixed,
Yeah.
Which is a myth.
Yeah.
The original Africans are black skin. I mean, blacks have various features that covers the whole spectrum of looks, physical looks, but when you look at the pyramids, the image, you can identify it's a black man or black woman. Just like if you go to America and you're a black person walking on the street,
everybody
identify you. So there's no so anything we say here in this conversation, we can back it up. So the original people built the pyramids and built civilization were black like you. You don't know it. They lied to you. So when I told my parents this and name change, they said, "Oh, what took you so long?" My mom had a rough time pronouncing the name, so she used to call me Yam instead of Yao, which was a joke. But most of the people respected me because they knew my Afrocentric mindset to begin with.
That's true.
And one thing, I was doing my master's degree at the time I came, and when I went back to school, I was telling teachers, listen, I'm doing a name change, this is my name. And I remember this distinctly. My white teacher, she was proud of it. She said, wow, wait, stop a second. Let me write the name down because I want to get it correctly. And she took the time to write it down and try to pronounce it. I respected her for that. Conversely, there were some Africans in my family, some who did not want to. Very few, because they know I'm combative. If I say call me this, you don't call me this. Wanted to call me by my old name. And I said no. I said, listen to this. My white teacher respected me enough to want to You want to come in by my own?
Yeah.
I said, no, if you can't come on my own, don't talk to me. So I established that very early. So really now, very few people know me by my enslaved name. Now, even if you call it, I don't even hear it. So I hear Yahoo, Suachao. So I went through that long explanation to say, that's my name and my identity. It connects me to Akan culture, and because that's where we are from. So let me touch on that. So I was born in Jamaica, and if you know anything about Jamaica, or when you get to know Jamaica, Jamaica is just Akan people for the most part. There are other people who came from maybe from Igbo culture, Yoruba culture, but predominantly, culturally, Jamaica is represented by Akan culture in through their stories, like you hear about Anansi.
Yeah, Anansi story. Yeah.
It wasn't Jamaican. It wasn't on the plant. It wasn't.
That was evening stories.
Yes, it wasn't on the plantation that we got it. It came from somewhere. Where did it come from? It came from Akan culture. So a lot of the names you hear about, like Kwame and Kojo, all those are in Jamaica. A lot of the foods, a lot of the words. And I'll give you an example. So even the bird, what you call an owl, we call it patu.
Petu?
Here is petu.
Yeah, petu. Yeah,
so it's just a matter of intonation.
The one that turns.
Yes. So we think, and then even some of the food, dokunu or kenke.
Kenke, yeah.
We call it dukunu. Alright, so we're thinking that these things are Jamaican words, but no, Jamaicans, there was some other people were living there called the Arawak Indians. They look like the East Indians.
East Indians, yeah.
And Jamaicans were Africans taken from one place, brought there. So when I talk to people, I try to let them know that we are Africans. I love Jamaica, I love Bob Marley, I love Marcus Garvey, all the country, all the history that associates us with Jamaica. But we are Africans, African born in Jamaica. We have to make that distinction. We're African born in America. We're not African Americans. We're Africans born in that geographical region where you're birthed.
It's African born, like the African borns in Europe,
right?
And like my kids, like this, and the African born in Jamaica, and African born in America, or something like this. Yeah.
So the first thing should be Africa. That comes first, and then the rest maybe your geographical relation. But you're African, and they know it.
Okay. So what I want to know exactly, why do you choose Ghana?
Good question. So I'm going to answer it personally, and I'm going to answer for a lot of people who I know who have come.
Yeah.
So for me, when I moved from Jamaica as a small boy with my family, we moved to Canada. And I grew up there, went to school there. From there, I relocated to Florida because I like a warmer climate. So it was from Florida, when I got to Florida, I wanted to find a black martial arts teacher. For me, anything you're doing, whether in business or recreation, you should support your own.
That's it.
So I was looking for, so my doctor is black, my teacher, you understand? So I found a black martial arts teacher. Someone told me about him. He was in Miami, and he happened to be a traditional priest, originally from Trinidad, but he came to Ghana, Techiman, and learned the traditional spirituality. So he was in Miami teaching it, African spirituality, but he also taught martial arts, and he taught Brazilian martial arts, which is what they call capoeira. Again, it's rooted out of Africa, okay, Angola. But anyway, so he started talking about Ghana, his experience here, and he taught us the language and the culture, and man, just the stories of how beautiful the people were, how hospitable, how respectful, all those things. He was miserable in Miami. He said we had to leave and come back, and so because of wife and children, he was there. So logically, because of how he spoke about Ghana, based on the experience there, he said, I can connect you to my family there. So when we were leaving, with three of us, me and two other best friends, we all traveled together, 2001, and we went to Techiman, and we stayed with the family, and that is where I told you we got our names changed.
Yeah.
So that's how I ended up in Ghana.
That's right.
Yeah. But having come to Ghana, upon reflection, Ghana reminded me of Jamaica. Jamaica in terms of the landscape, the weather, of course, the food, coconut, breadfruit, ackee. You guys may not know some of these things.
Yeah,
ackee, we treasure ackee in Jamaica. It's a national fruit, a national dish of Jamaica. Very delicious, but Ghanaians don't pay that any mind. Same with breadfruit. So I said, man, this is a paradise for us coming from Jamaica. So upon reflection, and also important, culture-wise, the children are so, no, the people are so beautiful inside. They're welcoming, they're loving. They want to help. The hospitality, for example, anything I say I want to back up. You're eating, and it's in their culture that you're invited. And they mean it. They want you to eat because they're eating. Yeah. You know, you're sitting down on the seat, they'll get up, they dust the place off, and they genuinely, and they'll get you water. Yeah. This is how Jamaica was when I grew up, and I remember it. We kind of got away from it because of, you know, our proximity to the U.S. and the television there. We call it, I think we lost a lot of culture, but coming back to Ghana was like going back
to Jamaica?
50 years when Jamaica was what we thought was culturally intact. Humanity-wise ruled Jamaica, not the violence that you hear about or see for the most part. It's still a beautiful island, but Ghana was like heaven.
So you chose Ghana. So Ghana, how many years have you been in Ghana?
This is my 20th year. So we came 2001, so this is 2021, so this is my 20th year.
You came with your family?
No, I came by myself. I was doing my master's degree at the time, and then so I took, we had a break, and I said I didn't want my 40th year to catch me, and I didn't come to Africa because I was always yearning to come. So I took the opportunity to come, and so I came, spent 3 weeks, I went back, and every year since then, before I finally came in 2004, I came back every year to prepare myself. And I said this, when they gave me the name, I said, within 3 years, I'll be back for good. So said, so done.
So after 2001, you came first time, so that's 2004, you came to settle.
Yeah, but my settlement started before that because 2002, I came back. And when you come back, you look at land and all these things. 2003, I brought friends, and you're still trying to get to. So when I left my job, 2004, I'll never forget, I went to my my boss at the time. My professional training is psychology. Psychotherapy. Yeah. And I was doing pretty good there, making good money. And I'm saying that because we're going to come to the question as far as why did you leave all of that? Yeah, I was living pretty good. And when I say, what I'm about to say is not to show off, because I think Ghanaians are lucky in the sense that most Ghanaians own their homes, they own their cars. Over there in the U.S. and Canada, North America, and Europe, we are in debt.
It was something that I was about to ask you, because I live in Europe, and I know that anything that we have their house, everything, 85% of them are mortgage.
Yes.
Car is finance.
Yes.
I did the same thing.
Yes.
But here in Ghana, everything that you have here, or here, not only in Ghana, in Africa, it's prepaid.
That's right.
You need to pay it before you use it.
Yes.
Even if you rent in a house, you need to rent it for 2 years before you stay in.
Exactly.
So it was a question that I was coming to come to it, but then you answer it straight away. So
but let me, I need to, man, there's so much things. So when I worked for a few years after I graduated, and then 2004 I went to my boss. He's English guy, and I told him I'm leaving. He said, why? And I said, well, listen, I'm going home. And he tried everything to make me stay. But I said, no, I'm going home. You guys can see. Even at work, I was wearing my clothes, African clothes, because my mindset is different. So I wasn't comfortable. So I made good money. I lived in a gated community. I lived off a golf course. I was young, married. I had my wife and my son. I drove, I'm just saying example, I drove a Lexus SC400, which is a sports car. Yeah. But the SC400, I don't like to finance. That one I saved and paid for, because I don't like to.
You bought it?
Yeah, I bought that one outright.
Cash.
Yes, right. But of course, houses, you can't buy houses cash like that unless you're maybe an athlete or something, or you're a big business person. So we mortgage, which is in debt. Mortgage comes from the French word mourir, which is to die. It means debt. People need to understand that. So we're living in debt. So when I came to Ghana and I saw the opportunity that you could build a house at a time for maybe $10,000, a 3-bedroom house, with no mortgage, this is what I'm talking about. This is wealth. So we have to understand the context, right? The delusion is that you're living large. You may see movies that we're talking about, Ibrahim, people with the cars and the bling bling. They probably don't live anywhere. Probably live in apartments, and yet they're out there showing off their best clothes, their best shoes, but we probably don't live anywhere to speak that they own. Even in our neighborhoods, we don't own the stores where we live. Okay, so I don't want to get too much of wait. So I want to answer your question. So why did I come? I came to Ghana because, again, I met a priest who had a history here, and he was teaching us the culture. So, and also as a Jamaican, as an African born in Jamaica, I gravitate to Ghana because culturally that's where we're from. All right, so I identify with it. But why do other people come to Ghana or come to Africa? We are few. I need to say that. Many of us on that side, we have forgotten our roots. We have forgotten our link to Africa. In fact, it was beaten out of us. It was killed. You would be killed if you tried to speak the language during the enslavement period. They didn't want you to speak your language. They didn't want you to practice your culture. So it's no coincidence that most of us don't associate ourselves with Africa, because again, everything Africa is bad, it's backwards. Remember that.
That's true.
Right. So
that's true.
Who wants to associate something bad? So most people do not want to come to Africa. Most people from diaspora, to get that straight, we are a few, and most of us who do, we are influenced. And I have to say this: in Jamaica, the Rastafarians have a big influence on Jamaica culture for the longest time, and they were influenced by Marcus Garvey. You need to know about Marcus Garvey, a leader of one of the biggest black movement in the world. It's never been duplicated what he did at the time. He didn't have social media, so you all need to know Marcus Garvey. But Marcus Garvey influenced the Rastafarians. The Rastafarians spoke about Africa, coming back home. They spoke about being proud of who they are. They wear their hair natural. They talk about the food that you eat. And they spoke about black love, loving Mama Africa. They sing about it. So in Jamaica, we had a term for those guys. We call them black heart men, because their heart was black. And they taught us to be afraid of those guys. Say, if you see a black heart man coming, run the other way.
Why?
Because they associate them with evil. They put that in their heads, that black heart man is going to eat you. That's what you should say. Anything you want people to be afraid of you, they'll say, oh, they will hurt you, which is not true. The original Rastas were some of the most humblest, gentlest guys. You see a Rasta man come, you know he's going to give you something, candy or something like that. But they taught us there in schools to be, not to wear your hair natural, be afraid of those natty head men.
The
right?
Rasta.
Yeah,
the Rasta. The dreadlocks man.
Yeah, they gave them a negative image about association with.
They labeled them with a black,
right?
Yeah, with a negative image.
Yeah. So who wanted to associate with them? But Rastas always spoke about Africa, Mama Africa, and so if you were influenced by Rasta, as Rasta culture has influenced Jamaican society, whether we like it or not, especially with someone like Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, and all those guys who came afterwards. Yeah. You get curious about what's this country people always singing about? What's this continent? Sorry, it's not a country. Yeah. They're singing about. So there's a natural curiosity, and in some of us, I think there's a spirit don't die. Our ancestors, as you said earlier, they descendants of us, we came on this side. So there's a natural curiosity or spiritual link that makes us want to come home. And when you arrive, and I say this for some of my brothers and sisters who were born in the U.S. I say that's more like if you live in New York, it's a concrete jungle. Where I'm from in Jamaica, in the country, it's like Ghana, it's a landscape. I can identify, right? So even though they may be born in that environment, there's something calling them to say, come home. I know plenty of my friends, and when they come here, they feel at home. There's nothing that nobody can identify to say, well, they force you to come. It's something within you. And people need to understand that. There are a few of us here. There's something in us that compels us to come back home.
So basically, you're trying to say that there's something that pulling you to come back home, spiritually.
Yes.
Yeah, it makes you feel that you are home.
Yes. Yes. And
The moment you heard the name Ghana or Gold Coast, you know, it used to be Gold Coast before that, you feel like you are at home. And when you touch here too, you feel like this is your home.
You feel like a home. And it started before that. And I want to say this to the political leaders and the politicians who maybe just see us as returning or coming home for a good time. Many of us, while we're growing up, we really feel like we are.
You don't belong to that break.
Ghanaians. It's not something you can
you can change it.
The way I want to put it is like sorry to use this analogy. There's some guys who, when they're young, they identify with a woman, a female identity, and no matter what you say to them, that's what they feel like. You can't change it, right?
Yeah.
That's how. So for us, for me, it's like, I'm an African. Then why am I doing there on this side? I will come home because everything about me, my psychology, my spirit, everything. And when you come here, you feel it. So when you try to tell us, oh, go through this procedure, immigration, and do all this, you're insulting our ancestors. You're telling them, well, you're not from here. And so what happens when, what if your great grandmother or grandfather, who we are the descendants of, we're family, like it or not, because that that connection is still there.
Still there.
So now your family wants to come home. What are you going to tell them? What are you saying to them?
You have to tell them to come home.
Yeah, what are you saying to them? You can't tell them, you know, you're not really, you must identify with a passport with the country which enslaved you. And so we have to be careful. Some of us, that's who we are, so we've come back home. So there's a feeling for some that we belong here. And then the third one is, for me, Africa is your natural land base for wealth creation. Not only for you, but for your young people here and for generations to come. Africa is the richest continent
in the world,
on the planet, right?
Even though we don't see it,
you don't see, but it doesn't. It's still
we
there.
don't see it, but it's still there.
Yes.
So that is why I say, do you know the reason why that the Chinese and that's what we in our generation now, that's what we see, that they are rushing very fast, or other people from the other part of the world are rushing down here. Mm-hmm. Do you think, what do you think about that? Why those people are rushing here in Africa? Yeah. You was born in Jamaica, grown up in the Western world. If I say Western world, you know what Western world is. And being in Africa for so many years, you think about Ghana. Why Chinese? Why even the Americans? Why the Europeans are still now rushing here after the slave trade? Why can't they leave Africa alone? Why? Do you have any idea about that?
Yes, I do. So in the case of who said it? Africa is the land of gold, diamonds, all these precious minerals. And when I say precious minerals, they're rare. They're not found everywhere or everywhere in abundance. But Africa has all these resources. I can't go and list them. So if you are into looking for wealth or a better way of life, what other place would you go to other than a place that you know where it is? It's like the gold rush. When you have a place where it says there's gold, everybody rushes there, right? So Africa is that one frontier left in the world which is not overly populated, where it's not a lot of the resources has been exhausted. It's still in abundance. And so therefore it makes sense that if you're looking to create wealth, you come to that place. Now the Chinese, do not underestimate, the Chinese are smart. They come to Africa because they have to survive. They're doing what they're supposed to do because it's based on survival. You have a place limited in its geography, in size, and a population that's huge, 1.3 billion people. And if they didn't have that one child, one policy, what do you think would happen? It'd probably be 2 or 3 billion. They cannot continue like that. They could not sustain themselves, so they have to leave. They have to leave there, go outside of that geographical region, and where would they go? Do they want to go to a place that's already established, like let's say like the US? They wouldn't stand a chance. They would not allow them to come. When I say Africa is freer in terms of your ability to set up business there, right? Mm-hmm. So, and when you talk about massive wealth and massive resources, not pockets of it, that's a logical place to come. So they come here, and then they take the resources that they find, and they usually take it back to China, and they manufacture it and create more wealth because they put value onto whatever. In the case of gold, or they put value on the gold. You mine it, but then you might make chains out of it or use it into industry, whatever. And then when you do that, you make more money doing that way. And I'll give you another example, like rubber. We have rubber here in Ghana, in the continent. But we give our raw rubber resources away, and then they make what? Like, for example, tires. Everybody needs tires because you drive around, not just vehicles for the ground, but in the air. And then they make the tires outside, sell it back to you at way more than the cost of what it would have been if you were to manufacture it here. That is the reason why most countries come to Africa. They get the natural resources and they take it back to their country and process it in terms of farm products, agricultural products, and they create wealth for themselves, for their country, and for the young people.
And come back, bring it back here and sell it very expensive.
And sell it to us. And so permit me to even give an example. This is everything. It's important. So let's use gold. Many Ghanaians, Ghana's called the Gold Coast for a reason. Abundance of gold yet to be discovered. A lot of Ghanaians have never seen raw gold. They may see the chain and all that, but they've never seen the nuggets coming out of the ground.
That's true.
Yeah. But we have had more gold leaving this place than probably any other. And the South African mining company might be here, and they take it back to South Africa. They call it South African gold, but it might have originated in Ghana. But Ghana is the richest, for gold, it's the richest, number one. I don't care if they say number two, it's number one in the world because the mining companies here extract it and take it outside. So you get gold, which is considered one of the most precious minerals. I mean, it's hard to find, right? It's not everywhere. And they buy it for, or we sell it for, what do you get in exchange for gold? You get what? You get money. What's money made of? Paper. So you're selling something that is most precious for something that is not precious, or that is easy to attain anywhere you have leaves and trees. So what will happen if you keep doing that? You will become naturally poor. You're actually giving away your resource. Yeah. So I can imagine people just laughing at Africa, and I just use gold as one example. All right, one example. What's the benefit of gold? Gold is the ultimate collateral. You can use, if you know that you have gold, they call it reserve. In America, they have the Fort Knox, where they say they store gold. In England, they store gold. We're the only country where we give away gold or sell it for
instead
nothing. Instead of storing it, it's a collateral. So if I know I have a ton of gold, I can go to any financial institution and say, listen, I have gold. 1 kilogram of gold is worth, let's say, $50,000, just an example, on the world market. So if I have 100 kilogram, how much is that? 100 times 50,000. Oh, that's what, 5 million?
5 million, yeah.
Right? And I go to any bank and say, listen, I want to buy 100 tractors for my farm. I want to buy a couple of airplanes. They will give you that, knowing that you have something, so in case you default. I would love, if you default, I'd love that, so I can get your gold, right? So gold, you don't give away, my people, Africa, don't give away your cocoa and your rubber and all these things that we give away, our oil. We need to keep it. And when you don't have, we don't manufacture it ourselves, then you don't have jobs, don't provide jobs for our young people. So our young people got to go elsewhere where they're manufacturing your gold, manufacturing your cocoa and your rubber, looking for factories, work there. Why not do it here? So I'm saying this to young people who we have a tendency to want to, and I don't blame you, because there's lacking opportunities. When you leave your homeland in pursuit of something, a better life, it's because we have not done enough here, like Kwame Nkrumah tried to do, build a base for us to manufacture, industrialize our resources, and live off the resource of the land.
Yeah.
Africa should be the richest, should be living the richest out of everybody else, so we have it in abundance.
So let's go to 126 African Descendants organization that you have.
Okay. So Nana Kwame Nkrumah, after independence, political independence, 1957, he had actually welcomed a lot of people from diaspora to come home to help participate in making Ghana what the vision that he had. And I say that because he was the first African leader to really attain a position to run a government, and so he had control over what could be, what should be done.
Yeah, that's true.
So in his wisdom, he said, hey, it makes sense to invite my people from outside who have the skills and the knowledge and the heart and who want to come home to come home.
Yeah.
So many of them did that. So that was the first person in Ghana, president, leader, who did it. Years later, other presidents like President Rawlings maintained the same thing. He welcomed us to come home. Okay. He even tried to make it a law. I think it was 2000, and it was not ratified in Parliament. But he wanted to make it so that we can become citizens. To his credit,
straight away.
Yeah, straight away. Subsequent governments, it kind of slowed down. But anyway, in 2016, former President Mahama, because of some advocacy done prior to 2016, granted citizenship to 34 Africans from the diaspora who were already living here. And he lost the election in 2016. In 2017, I personally approached the designated Foreign Affairs Minister, Madame Botre at that time, to say, well, President Mahama did something that we all welcomed and applauded. Yeah. Will your government continue? And to her credit, she said yes. She said, we are a bigger diaspora government than anybody else, so yes, we will do it.
I want you to repeat that side again. You said in
2016,
yes. President Mahama
yes.
give citizens